Hi, my name is Maria, and I wanted to share my journey of living with CMT. Charcot-Marie-Tooth is a progressive degenerative condition that affects the peripheral nerves. For years, even decades, I had very mild, nearly invisible symptoms, so I often downplayed the impact they had on my daily life. I found that as I got older and my hands and feet became weaker, it was both challenging and humbling to admit that opening a water bottle or going for a walk could be a struggle. Anyone living with a disability needs to learn to become an advocate for their needs. In high school, I was really challenged with handwriting, and I found it incredibly difficult. I was always really clumsy and always hurting my feet and ankles. I found that by speaking up and working with my school, we could find options I didn't know were possible, such as replacing gym class with a co op. In my undergrad, I was a little bit more proactive in asking for help, and I found support in the form of additional time for exams and recorded lectures. This was when I realized that asking for what you need and the support you need is definitely something that is not going to hurt you in the long run. And being open and honest with others around you isn't seen as a weakness. As I progressed into my professional career, I found it very difficult to talk about my disability in the workplace. A lot of the leaders around me had this aura of perfection. They would talk about career setbacks, pivots, and challenges, but rarely, if ever, did I see anyone with a disability in a leadership position. In my late 20s, I became more comfortable talking about the impact of CMT on my life, partially in part because of the conversations I'd had with parents of kids who have CMT. They would ask me questions not about the impact of the condition or the symptoms or the progression, but really, how did the diagnosis affect my decision making? What choices had I made? What trade offs? And how has it have affected my professional career? I realized that by not sharing my challenges and the success that I've achieved, I was actually perpetuating the myth of perfection and really not being helpful to those around me. Now I find myself working full time in an IT consultancy and pursuing my executive MBA at the same time. It's definitely a challenge, but I find that it's really helpful to have a great supportive system and to always be open and honest with those around you, and that includes my team and my classmates. I find that by talking about my condition and opening the floor to conversation makes people a lot more comfortable and helps them to understand when and how to help. It also really gets rid of that awkward, uncomfortable, tense time when people just don't know how to deal with somebody who is a little bit different or has a different ability. I find that by not sharing your story, you're limiting others by not giving them an alternate point of view.